Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vandiazzo by Carpe Vanguard deck profiles. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. Sorry. This time we are covering set 4, Lyrical Monasterio, Siana. So, Siana is the deck I really love, not because I love Siana at all, I don't care for it, but I love how literally the week after, or at least for me, I think it was the week after everyone, or at least I noticed everyone started complaining about the aggressive meta, and we wish for more defensive cards, and Blitz orders not be a hard once per turn. Then that following week, we proceed to get Siana, whose skill basically is just a free 15k, which is what Blitz orders typically give. So it's like, but she answered everyone's prayers. I just find it funny. That's all I really care about. So let's get this deck started, shall we, with a full-on new defensive style that no one has ever seen before, because I guess Vanguard doesn't do defensive. First of today, we have our starter, and the warm-up exercise is done. Siana, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base. Still find some of the starter name weird from Lyrical Monasterio. I find a lot of the names weird. Auto road pipe, once you can draw a card. Standard starter, nothing too special about it. Standard starter, just a free draw if you win second. You can really use any starter for this ride line, but I mean, might as well go for full theme. Also, I don't know why I know why she has the bag on her head, but my god, something tells me she'd be my favorite starter because I don't know. I really like this little sweatshirt jacket thing, and I like her hairdo. I don't know why. I really wish she didn't have the bag over her head, but one of Siana in the ride deck. And we have our normal triggers, or not our normal triggers, but our triggers. First, we have the over trigger among those, and that's Demonic Fever Gaviria. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. Over trigger in your deck. When you view it as a trigger, move that card, draw a card. Choose one of your units, it gets +1 for the turn, and if you viewed it during your jet check, activate its additional effect, which you get during this fight, you get during your turn. All your rear guards get plus 10,000 power. All around pretty solid, because what I've learned while playing against Siana is unless you're playing a deck like Tokens where you don't mind the rear guards getting killed because you're probably going to kill them anyways, it's very annoying having to, you know, either discard a card to keep your stuff on the board or watch them get bound, and then your opponent just swings at you for double crit and triple drive excessively, and then they get plus 10k to their body on top of this. Like, honestly, it's annoying, and free 10k to front row is great. So one of Gaviria, you can really make this any over you want. I just go Gaviria for the theme of it. And then we have our normal triggers. First up, we have 3 copies of the winner, Eleanor. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 5k base. Draw trigger. You can really run any draw trigger you want in this position. I just run Eleanor because, well, Eleanor fits the theme of it. But you also want, in my opinion, you want more draw triggers because since this deck literally turns any trigger into a blitz order, basically, I would rather have that, like, extra draws to help increase my hand and then just treat it as, like, a front trigger, quote-unquote. Then we have, you know, 4, where are the triggers? Oh, I moved them in the wrong position. Anyways, on top of that, we have 4 more draws in Transparent Snowy Night Bear Toy. Grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base. Contains guards, or your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 or greatest with 5k shield. Cool 10k shield that also can help increase the hand. And again, technically it's a 15k shield thanks to Siana's skill. So basically we just have Palvi except minus 5k from that, which is great. And I forgot up her numbers, but she is at 4 copies by the way. And then finally we have 4 copies of our crit and Shocking Candy Alias. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k power. Standard crit, no special. You can really run any crit you want in this deck. I just chose to run Alias because the deck doesn't need Soul unless, like, you hard ran the Soul Blasters. Like, you only see Soul Blasters the entirety of the game, and then you willingly choose to use their skills at every instant you can without thinking that you don't have to. Like, that's the type of issue that I would say the Soul deck is. But either way, though, being able just to see Kristen's deck is great. And, I mean, the Vanguard already has double crit and triple drive, so might as well add for more pressure for that. And I'm going to change this to 4 because it's going to bother me instinctively knowing that it's not like that. And then we have our 4 healers in Love of Cats Lazan. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k power. I don't know. It just fits the theme. It's a Halloween trigger. I mean, this is why I run it. We all know this is why it's here. But, I mean, hey, it is cute after all. Then we have our grade 1s. First, we run 4 copies of A Card I Swear Fits the Theme so well because me and my friends just did like a Alice in Wonderland type of thing for Halloween. Yes, I know Halloween hasn't happened yet because it's October 17th, Tuesday at 1:40 p.m. is when I'm recording this. But we're doing a Halloween video and we already like preemptively recorded. It was Alice in Wonderland theme, and like the week after I learned about this, we get out wonderful wand lip hulks. Anyways, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, an amazing grade 1 who I love, who I never use a second skill for some reason. All one placed on the rear guard circle. Choose one opponent's from a rear guards and bounce it to the hand. All around pretty solid. Not a mandatory bounce if you don't want to, but if, hey, it's a free bounce and then it can help trigger Siana's skill a lot more easy, so there's that. And auto rear guard, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard Siana is card name attacks or is attacked, by putting her to soul, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets 10k for that battle. Okay, that stacks. That's not a once per turn, meaning you can just keep doing it if you have multiple copies on the board, but also it stacks, meaning if you have 2 of them, send them both to Soul, that's a free 33k when the Vanguard swings or when it's being swung at by anything. If you don't know what Siana's gimmick is, quick one down before we go through the rest of the deck, you don't want to put cards on guard circle. I do not understand why this is not a double rare. I really don't. Because it doesn't matter what's swinging in at it. It doesn't matter what it's swinging into. As long as your Vanguard's a grade 3. Hell, your opponent's Vanguard can be a grade 1 and this will still proc off. But as long as your Vanguard's a grade 3, it goes to Soul. So it gets rid of the Soul problem in this deck. Again, unless you see only Soul Blasters. But by that default, you don't see this at all. It gives the Vanguard 10k, meaning it's an extra 10k guard on the offense. Or it's an extra 10k that you don't have to guard with, meaning Siana's skill is more likely to go off. And it can bounce stuff for free. How this is not at least a double rare, I will never understand. But 4 of Lepox, just an amazing grade 1, and I cannot see an argument of why it shouldn't be a 4 of. Then we have 4 copies of Sturdy Sweet Zamel, Moon, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, not 5k shield, sorry, 0 k base. Continue Sentinel, and we have only 4 Sentinels in deck, and all of them put on guard circle. Choose arm units, it cannot be hit on the battle, and if your hand has 2 or more cards in it, choose a card from your hand, discard it. Standard PG, nothing just specified. That basically means if this or only one of the cards is in your hand, you place it on guard circle, you don't have to discard, which is great, because that means you can be as aggressive as you want in the early game, and honestly, considering you're not going to normally put stuff on guard circle unless you absolutely have to, you're probably going to early game rush with these things, and then pray that your opponent doesn't murder them, because this skill is incredible, and for some reason I just never use it. Literally, the only reason I don't use that skill is because I forget it's there. It's not because I don't think the skill is good. It's literally because I forget that the option is there until, like, it's about to die, or, like, I have no way to keep it alive. That's literally the only time I ever remember its skill. Otherwise, I completely forget about it. Anyways, being able to basically be an absolute perfect guard. I know I just, like, used the 2 different phrases I used to describe it in the anime before as, like, a thing, but still. All around, pretty solid. You can really run any of the PGs because they all have the same skill, but I prefer Zamel in this deck just because it fits the theme, and also, again, Moon. Not 3 of in the main deck, but I'm in the red deck, 4 of. I don't know why I can't pay attention today. And then, of course, we have our grade 1 in the ride deck. Again, the trend is always, I like the grade 0s and I like the grade 1s, and then I don't like the rest of the line for some reason. Anyways, 1 of in the ride deck, none in the main deck, sadly. Of Rely on the Snakes when unsure. Siana, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. This one's more of the color scheme, though. Normally I just like the cards themselves. For some reason, this time's the color scheme, and I swear that is Ura's outfit. Auto Vanguard, at the end of battle, this unit was attacked by a rear guard. If a card was not put on your guard circle for this battle, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and they may discard it. If they do not discard, that rear guard is bound. So, the one that attacked. So this is the shared effect of all the Sianas, and why this deck is very annoying to deal with, especially when you're me and your entire game plan with any deck, unless that deck is really against that game plan, is rush, 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 ultimate rush. Like, I'm not joking with you here. This card is the bane of my existence because it is an actual hate card against the way I play. But, cool. It's screws over any early game aggro deck, and like I said, this ability is shared by all of them. So if you just don't guard, or like you find a way to cheat around guarding, like either the grade 3 Siana skill, this thing skill, blitz orders, which doesn't count as putting cards on guard circle as evidenced by the anime, yeah, it just kind of gives a middle finger to the rear guard that's swung it. It's literally denial Griffin, but for free. And then auto when rode upon by a grade 2 card with Siana's card name. By soul blasting 1, draw a card, and then return all your opponent's former rear guards to hand. So I do wonder why the grade 1 has this skill and not the grade 2, because in my opinion, considering how the grade 3 works, the grade 2 should have that skill. But I mean, cool, it doesn't require the grade 0 insult. It is a free draw, and it bounces all your opponent's former rear guards to hand, meaning if they spent time, I don't know, playing down tokens, and they chose to keep them alive for some arbitrary reason on this skill, you just bounce them back to hand, you get that draw. The other thing is, too, if your opponent just, for some reason, thought you weren't going to do this, for whatever reason, they would be like, oh, I'm going to defend my rear guards. Proceeds to do the skill anyways and fucks them over. I don't know why someone would think you wouldn't do that, but I mean, hey, the option's there. So 1 of in the ride deck, none in the main deck. She doesn't have a rear guard skill, sadly, but honestly, this is how you do a Vanguard. You just share the skill that's really broken and then give it a support skill at that. And move on to our grade 2s. 4 copies of the card who I don't like the skill of, but I really like her art just because of how the colors feel so vibrant and lively. And that is Rafish Runner Juno. Grade 2 and step 5 Kishio 10k base, act rear guard circle once per turn. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Siana in its card name by soul blasting one, choose on your opponent's front or rear guards and you may return to the hand. And if a trigger unit was soul blasted for this cost, regardless if something was bounced or not, choose one of your Vanguards and both that and this unit get plus 10k for that turn. So the Vanguard who already has double crit and triple drive, unless the opponent guards with at least 3 cards now, is now a 23k without personalized boosters or this thing procking off. A 23k, double crit with triple drive, and then this thing is at least a 20k and probably going to get a crit sacked onto it. 4 of Juno. Like, straight up, it's a single soul blast. This deck puts a bunch of triggers into Salt the Wazoo, so that's pretty easy to accomplish. The only time that you might not have a trigger in Soul is first grade 3 turn, because this deck doesn't send them to Soul by first grade 3 turn unless you got really lucky and you put the starter as a trigger and then you also cheated because there's no other conceivable way to get a trigger into Soul in this version of the deck before first grade 3 turn. But hey, if you managed to do it, you did it. 4 of Juno though, like again I say, 20k base makes the Vanguard 23k. Doesn't matter what grade the opponent's Vanguard's at, just bomb rush them. So 4 of Juno, that's what I love about the deck. It has that offensive pressure, but it also has like the I will defend myself to the end type of pressure. So there's that too. And we have 4 copies of Jacko Parade Tethulius, grade 2 and step 5k shield, 10k base. My favorite card in terms of art, I don't know why. Auto when placed on rear guard circle. Choose one of your front or rear guards, you may return to the hand. I mean favorite in terms of this deck, not in terms of everything. But cool. Again, free balance, very much like that a lot. Again, okay, not me hitting on Juno, but again I say, why is this not a double rare? Like, its skill is so good in my opinion. Why is it not a double rare, but this is? I don't understand it, but okay. And then, so cool, free bounce, and then auto rear guard. When this unit attacks into a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Siana's card name, counter blast 1, it gets plus 5k power to end the battle for each of your opponent's open front or rear guard circles, and if it was 10 or more, it gets a draw. Cool. Free, or not free, but it's the counter blast 1 for a 20k swing. It is the only card, except for one other thing, which is an optional tech that eats up CB, meaning if you don't run that optional tech, this deck literally does not have a CB problem at all. But, cool. 20k swing, draw on top of that is great. And if you're wondering what, like I did when I first thought about it, why they only bounce the front row, well, here's the reason why. Think about this for a second. At the end of, for each of the grade, or for each of the Siana line, for every single attack they make with the rear guard, they have to choose to discard one or not. If you bounce the back row, that gives them more discard options. They choose not to call them back. So if you're only bouncing the front row, yes, they get to keep possibly annoying rear guards, but they have less discard targets, meaning their rear guards are less likely to stay around. Or if they do stay around, you're more likely to get rid of something very important in your opponent's hand. So 4 of Tethulius, all around just a very solid grade 2. It's a 20k swing with a draw on top of it, and if you take out the optional tech in this deck, it's literally the only thing that'll take up CB, so 4 of. Then we have our grade 2 of the right deck, 1 of in the right deck, none in the main deck, of Countermeasure against the Heat is Perfect Siana. This is the only grade 2 I actually like the art of from the Lyrical Monasterio decks, and of course it's the one I hate the name the most of. Grade 2 and step 5k shield, 10k base, auto Vanguard. At the amount of this unit was attacked by a rear guard. If a card was not put onto your guard circle for this battle, again, blitz orders would not count towards that. Your opponent chooses cards in the hand that may discard. If they did not discard, bind the rear guard attacked. Again, denial Griffin for free. And then auto when wrote upon by a grade 3 with Siana's card name, choose a trigger unit or blitz order from your drop zone, add it to hand. Cool! So recycles the triggers that you drop for Riot deck. It can be anything. It can be the over for some reason. This. All around pretty solid. Or you get back your blitz orders. Now you're wondering, what blitz orders do we run in this deck? This. So that was an accident, by the way. I didn't mean for these two to be next to each other. Well, I did kind of, but I didn't intend for it to be like, oh, it just casually segues into a blitz order. That was an accident. Anyways, we have 3 copies of the blitz order as our last grade 2 card in the deck. Unseeable Exterior, grade 2 blitz order, like I keep saying. Played if you have 3 or more open rear guards. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. So the first time I would have tried to play this, I would have been in the right because I didn't have because I had an open board. But then every other time I tried to play this, I've done it illegally because I had 3 rear guards because I thought it said 3 or more rear guards, not 3 or more open. I'm an idiot. Okay, anyways, cool. Now I know for next time, but now it benefits this deck not having to early get. I caught a grade 2 in the back row for nothing, god damn it. Okay, anyways, choose one of your units being attacked and gets 15k for that battle, and then your opponent's Vanguard is replaced by card's ability this turn. Revolve, Dress, Amalia, like any of the grade 4 superior riders really. Striding gets 30 instead of 15. Okay. All around, pretty solid is basically Siana's skill times 2 Electric Boogaloo. It wants you to have open rearguard circles. That I will remember for next time, and I'm still mad at myself because the first time I was going to use this, I would have been in the goddamn right. But, cool. Free 15k. It triggers Siana's skill really well. Easy 3 of. And then we have 4 copies of a card I literally shoved in here because the deck had everything that I felt like it needed, and I was like, cool, what do I need for a theme? And I was like, well, this was revealed the same day, might as well grab it. And I honestly didn't think it would be as useful as it is, and it really is useful. And that is Super Aesthetic Shot, a grade 3 normal order, which you play by Counter Blasting 1, and you, the player, all your rear guards get plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So, free 5k to your entire board except the Vanguard, which is nice. Even though this deck doesn't rear guard rush, and based off of this, you obviously don't want to. But, stack it with this. That's 15k to your entire rear guard during your turn. Just saying, like, that already is broken. But, like, 5k, believe it or not, is just good enough, especially when it's only 1 CB. So 4 of Super Aesthetic Shot. It's just a solid order, and it adds more numbers to a deck that technically doesn't need it. So 4 of. Then we have 4 copies of This Place is Like the Utopia, Norteje. I don't know why, but, like, I guess I was, like, listening to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's, well, a lot of music from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, like the 2 English openings, Halfway to Forever, and then, like, the original one, Take a Chance. But then, like, for some reason, I was consistently listening to, like, the Zexomorph theme, and for those of you that don't know, Utopia is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster, so I don't know why, like, when I saw this, I was extremely disappointed that it wasn't a Utopia. Anyways, grade 3 turn percent 13k base, auto rearguard when she attacks into a Vanguard. If you have a grade 3 rearguard Vanguard with Siana's card name, I was about to say Utopia in this card name. Soul Blast 1, return all your opponent's former rearguards to their hand, and this unit will get plus 5,000 power for that battle. Cool. 18k swing, it bounces your opponent's entire front row. It literally activates Siana's skill for a simple Soul Blast, which is nice. The only downside is she has to swing, so, you know, you're not going to get the full benefit of, like, Siana's triple drive on top of that, or, like, the pressure its drive check could bring, but it's all around still a very solid grade 3, and it's nice for those situations if you can't bounce. So 4 of Notorja, just solid grade 3. And then we have our last card in the deck, 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the right deck, of Gorgon Eye Siana. I am just now noticing she has a moon in her background because it blends in so well with it, and it just looks beautiful. Anyways, grade 3 turn personality 13k base. Continuous Vanguard Circle. If the total number of units on your opponent's front rear guard and guard circle in total is 2 or less, it gets +1 crit and +1 drive. So if they have 1 front rear guard and 2 cards on guard circle, it would not get that benefit. Same thing if they had 3 cards on guard circle, no front rear guards, or 2 front rear guards and 1 card on guard circle. But if they have 2 or less in total, and consistently they're probably going to have an open front row, you're probably getting that crit and a drive unless they've only dropped 3 cards. So all around, pretty solid. It's nice pressure and good on that. Like, the only downside is a 13k, but I mean, that's what, you know, not her, that's what she is for, and also what she is for if you remember to use her, so there's that. And then her other skill is Auto Vanguard. When this unit is attacked by anything, whether it's Vanguard or Rear Guard, you're probably not going to use this when you're being attacked by the Vanguard, unless, like, it's your only option. In that case, you're probably sending both of these to soul to equivalent the shield. You get, by putting a trigger into your hand, it gets plus 15,000 power for that battle. So as I've been told, that is not a once per turn, like I assumed, obviously, because it doesn't have a once per turn text on it, but it's only once per battle. I feel like it's not once per battle, but I mean, it's fine if it is. Like, it makes the deck a lot worse. Trust me, it's a lot more manageable if it is a once per battle type of thing, but if it's not a once per battle, then, man, this deck is getting annoying to deal with. It's beatable, it's just annoying to deal with. And then its other skill is Auto Vanguard. At the end about this unit was attacked by a rear guard. It has standard ability as the other ones. If a card was not put into your guard circle for this battle, that is where this comes in handy. Your opponent chooses a card from the hand and they may discard it. If they do not discard a card, bind that rear guard that attacked. So, cool. Again, Denial Griffin. Like, its only cost here is sending a card to soul, which therefore amplifies anything in this deck that has a soul blast cost to it, which is only 2 cards, granted, but still. And then, you know, makes itself a 28k body for that battle. also makes itself double crit and triple drive, and then we combine with Juno 23k and Persona Rides. Like, it's just all around a very solid grade 3. It does its defensive job well, and thanks to its a little bit of aggressive power, even if it's only a 13k base with this, it still applies pressure to where your opponent probably has to drop 3 cards on it. What I've learned, at least from my experience, at least placing against this exact deck, it doesn't matter if you like drop, if it doesn't matter if you stop them from doing triple drive. Like, if you have a front or rear guard, then stop them from doing triple drive. Otherwise, it's fine because you're going to end up losing more hand cards anyways. Then again, that's also the way I play against it, where again, I will actively just continue my regular playstyle of all-out rush and pray for the best. So 3 of Siana in the main deck, 1 of in the right deck, shuts down aggro decks, and is the bane of my existence. And without further ado, this one here, I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck is... I didn't think it'd be fun to play, but it actually is fun to play. Like, just seeing aggressiveness fail at its site, and then also whether this is a once per turn or not, still basically being a blitz order on legs is great, and then also having that triple drive and double crit pressure. Also having the order that wasn't supposed to do anything, and then it consistently is drawn and actually does something is nice. And then also me being annoyed at this card now, because I was right the first time I was going to use it, but no, I read it as 3 or more rear guards, not 3 or more open rear guards. So yeah, but I'll remember that next time. So either way, I was going to be here. Hope you guys enjoyed. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join, follow Twitch. I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.